You know, I don't usually cover action figures on the channel. Maybe the odd Masters of the Universe thing. You know what my audience is like. Oh, Gavin, I only like Transformers. Aye, well, give it a rest, alright? These two have been in Transformers plenty of times, so dry your eyes, sit down, cram a blueberry into your nostril, because we're looking at Marvel Legends Deathhead and Rom the Space Knight. Both characters made their comics debut less than a decade apart, Rom in late 1979 and Deathhead in 1987, both of them being gem as fuck. Deathhead's got success with their own titles, many cameo appearances in Transformers, Doctor Who, other Marvel pish, and various places around my house. I like Death's Head a lot, and I only didn't pick this version up until now because I was hoping for a variant in green, which I'd prefer, but, now watch as they announce it within days of this video coming out. The packaging, a lot of folks that make these videos, right, they're like, oh, the packaging is stunning. And I'm like, calm down, it's a box. But this is a really nice box, nice artwork styled on the old Marvel trading cards from 1991, and we've got this big Death's Head. He's 6'6", eh? Just a wee guy, huh? Okay. Well, he might weigh a few pounds more than me, I suppose. And I've never appeared in Dragon's Claws, so he's got me there. Oh wow, look at all these stats. He's got a 6 in well, it's a lot better than the 3 here he got in something. I had to check the inside packaging in case there was some sort of decoder, but it looks like they've just forgotten to include this information. It's okay, I'll look up the stats from the trading card, I'll write them on in Sharpie before this whole box ends up in the fucking bin. First impressions out the package, this is a beefy, big bit of a boy, isn't he? He's weighty, he's sturdy. It makes me feel better about paying this much for a toy that doesn't even turn into a truck or a plane or something. So much stuff to look at. Just look at how mean he is. That's a good, lengthy head sculpt there. Why the long face? Because that's how he should look. With the big chin spikes and the Gary Busey teeth. Perfection. The shoulder armour, the gauntlets, the boots. The boots, man, they're something else, so substantial. And the cape's got this wonderful texture that makes it look like it would be so cosy while also being able to stop a bullet. And I don't mean in fiction, I think this cape could stop a bullet, or at least an air rifle. And its chunkiness, coupled with the armour, it does have an effect on his range of movement, but with this big roided up physique, it was inevitable that some super dynamic posing would be an issue. It's not Spider-Man, it's Death's Head, and all he really needs to do is stand there looking cool as fuck, which he does. His ab crunch does lend itself to stooping over like this, and he's got some pretty impressive neck articulation, leaving him looking like he's having a hard time programming the microwave. We get 2 extra hands, both closed fists, which you can put on if you want this toy to be less interesting. The hands he comes with, on his wrists, are this semi-closed hand for holding things, and this cool grasping hand for when you need to choke someone or hold the matrix of leadership, like that one time. Accessories are incredibly on point, with this appropriately bruised and battered shield being able to be held in hand, or pegged into the back, albeit not as snugly as I would have liked. And look at these prickly customers, 3 different attachments that can plug directly, again not as snugly as I would have liked, into the shield. We've got this sweet axe, this badass spiked mace, and a damned rocket. Now, of course, if you know your scripture, we can attach these to either of Death's Head's wrists, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Of course, I'm going with the mace. It's just a responsible thing to do. And overall, a peach of a bounty hunter, freelance peacekeeping agent. That's the joke I'm legally contracted to include as part of my agreement as a very shite YouTuber. Rom, the Galadorian Gannet, the Space Knight himself. I think it's easy to say I like Rom a lot. He's a big cutie pie who's also incredibly dangerous to be around. It's like hanging around with Chris McFeely at TF Nation. Rom's packaging is closer to getting me to admit that a package can be stunning. Those colours are perfect. The ice blue hitting the black, the hot pinks and the yellows. Oathed. Now look, the back's a bit more generic since Rom here is part of a series, all of which look pretty great, but there's no way I'm going to start collecting Marvel Legends. It's almost a shame to open this up, but not too much of a shame. Let's crack this bastard open. Rom's a different kind of customer to Death's Head. We're talking sleeker, smaller, but he definitely still is on the protein because he's genetically jacked and athletically stacked. Immediately we see this sheer shiny sheen on the that I thought I was going to get through that first time, no chance. Immediately we see this sheer shiny sheen on our Space Knight pal. I can't help but wish Death's Head had a similar glow. It's lovely. And couple that with the many points of interest over this guy, it's still quite striking as a dolly. First, of course, is that head sculpt. Would you call it? Yeah, it's still a sculpt, even if it is just a big shoebox with eyes. Very pleasing, like a cheap TV or VHS combo from 1998. Lots of other very pleasing points. The chest armour is again pleasingly boxy, working its way around to a very cool jetpack with some paint accents that really gives it a Tunnocks tea cake feel. We can't ignore the wonderful thigh highs either. Rom really knows how to steal the show, and look at those feet. We get that alien two-toed feel while maintaining the comfortable sensibleness of an executive work shoe, which I think suits Rom's character beautifully. A lot more posing potential with this Astro Bastard. He can dab with the best of them. That ab crunch gives it a real man-spreading on the subway energy. Rom comes with his energy analyzer so he can detect the dire wraiths, and a pretty fucking similar neutralizer when he wants to turn them into lifeless muck or banish them to another dimension or whatever it is. Don't tell me in the comments. Each can attach this blast effect in a soothing berry colour that reminds me of those sweets when you have a sore throat. We also get 2 extra hands, 1 fist, 1 grabby hand. The last accessory is this little comic book, and they made a big deal out of this on the packaging. I don't know, it's a bit shite. Like it's a one-sided. It doesn't really. I don't know. I would have much preferred they included an actual comic book, like they used to with the old figures. But I suppose that's wishful thinking. I am the king of that after all. Together, both toys strike a pretty fun tone. I'm glad both of these turned out to be alright. I would have been a little heartbroken if they were a bit cruddy, but I suppose how hard is it to make a good action figure? Arms, body, legs, head, slap them together, you're done. It's a piece of piss. The good thing is that they can both take pride of place on any Transformers shelf, since they've both had the run-ins with those Cybertronian pains in the arse. Alright, up you go.